Hello guys, I'm very happy to give you my update for my Abattoir of the Year Blizzard Sorceress. You'll see that it's quite cool and strong to play, whether to get your glyph or to push in this new endgame activity. For the skills, you want to play the Flame Shield in order to be unkillable, TD Port for the mobility and damage reduction, Deep Freeze which will deal a good amount of damage and also make you invulnerable, Ice Armor for the barrier, Lightning Spear, or if you prefer you can also go for the Frost Nova. This one will stun your enemies and also give you some critical strike chance, and lastly of course the Blizzard. You also want the Firebolt enchantment in order to proc burning to your enemies, and the Flame Shield which will prevent you from dying once every 120 seconds. For the gear, if you have a Shaco it will be very good, otherwise you can go for the Godslayer Crown, and after that you have the Soulbrand in order to grant you some damage reduction with your barrier, and the Fist of Fate which will be very interesting because you have plenty of damage ticks. Then for the Punch, Debot Wilt to gain some mana, and Flicker Step in order to reduce your cooldown on your ultimate. For the weapon, you have damage during Deep Freeze. It will be very handy when you have a pack of elites, and for your offhand, the fact that you have increased damage to vulnerable enemies when you have barrier. You also want Talwasha to boost your damage, and Exfal in order to have a crazy spike of damage with the 40,000 damage. Lastly, for your amulet, make sure to have Ice Spikes on Blizzard. As you can see, we don't use the blue rose, but you'll see that we have plenty of damage in the Abattoir. For the Vampiric Power, Prey on the Weak, Accursed Touch, Ravenous and Infection, and lastly Metamorphosis. If you can, make sure to have it level 1 in order to more easily gain mana when you evade. For the skill tree you have two choices. First one, if you want to boost the damage of Blizzard, you put some points here, otherwise you can put the point in your resistances, 3 points to gain damage, TD Port with damage reduction, some mana on the Ice Armor, and 1 point to reset your cooldown. You have 3 points for the lucky hit, 1 point on the Lightning Spear with the stun and the critical strike chance, the defensive setup, 1 point here left. Blizzard, you can also choose to put either 5 points because it starts to hit a lot, or you can just put 1 point if you want more to focus on ice packs. After that you take the duration, some damage to burning, critical damage to burning enemies, the ice passive here, our ultimate with the cooldown, 3 points in the mana, and the last one is very important to play Shatter because the bosses of the Abattoir of the Year are in fact elite monsters. That means that they can be freeze and will be very good if we play Shatter. Now for the Paragon you want to have increased damage on your ice pack, then you want to have this board, but you don't need to get this node because we'll save the nodes for the new glyph. You want to get this glyph to increase your critical strike damage. Here you want to increase your damage to crowd control enemies, and you want to get this glyph increasing your damage to vulnerable enemies. Below you want to take this one, increase non-physical damage, so that's why we put it here. We have this one, and so on, and you can also get these rare nodes. We won't be needing this node, and we go on your right, take this glyph which will increase the damage, take all the nodes which are here, and just go below to get this increased damage to burning enemies and increase damage reduction from burning enemies. We won't take this node in order to finish our Paragon setup for the Abattoir of the Year. I got some gameplays in order for you to see how the build is performing, so keep in mind that in the Abattoir of the Year you'll have to do plenty of times this level in order to get some experience for your glyph. So that's why you have a bit of speed farming. You'll see that it's quite easy to speedrun the first tier, and also after that a bit of pushing. So in tier 7 I'm lacking a bit of DPS, but in the end you'll see that you can have plenty of fun with this build, but also push in the Abattoir of the Year or speed farm in order to get some XP for your glyph.